Hi, this is Kayye. I'm here with Dave Buchholz of Intel Unite, the Unite platform. We're here at the meeting space on the show floor here at InfoComm 2021, and I thought I would give you a tour of what they're showing here at InfoComm 2021. Obviously, it's not a booth, it's a meeting space.
Yeah, mainly to control and make sure we're providing a healthy environment for everybody. We've decided to do a meeting space this year so we can limit the number of people and our social distancing and making sure everybody's masked up and, keep it a nice environment. Everybody feels comfortable coming to visit us.
Yeah, and there's no one here on the show floor right now. We're here before the show floor even opens, so we don't have our masks on, and we're going to stay away from them inside. But if you come inside the meeting space, you'll see it's it's limited to a certain number of people based on the health issues. But talk about well, first off, let's start here. We got the 4K signage using the Intel NUC computers themselves.
Yeah, so we've basically, like I said, we've got a mixture of all kinds of collaboration and AV solutions throughout the whole booth. So everything from the Unite software to the NUC hardware. We've got Paul Guilfoyle over here, who's part of our team as well. And here we're showing off how NUC can drive 4K digital signage. Paul, you want to give us a little update on that? We're going to
actually do individual product videos after we do the tour. So Paul, we're going to come back to you. So if you want to see any of these individual product stations, all you have to do is type in Intel in the video search window and they'll all pop up. So here you're showing your AI cloud capability.
Yep, AI cloud capability, again, being driven by a NUC Fort Beach chassis. So just showing again how, the whole NUC hardware platform's truly flexible in that AV collaboration environment. Can provide many use cases, everything from 4K all the way to AI, integration with, wireless display, you name it, that NUC can go through and do that.
And the NUC is the key there, and of course the NUC is famously made by Intel, this is all about the NUC, obviously a station here, and this is showing. Tell us about the kiosks with Simtron.
Yeah, so same thing, right? Your typical retail kiosk, being able to pay, slide credit cards, anything else, all driven by, a nice little NUC platform hidden within the chassis itself. So typical, I don't know if you've seen stuff like this at your local airport and stuff now where you go on and do self-serve kiosk and stuff, just a nice little platform being driven by, again, NUC showing its flexibility in that whole open retail space.
And these are all, again, purpose-built applications. So what happens is you have a blank compute device and whatever software you load on it, that's how it boots up every morning and runs that way. And whatever the latest version of the software is, it runs.
Yeah, and then here's our Intel Unite software, right? Same thing, running on a Fort Beach chassis, driving everything from peripherals, to support your typical UC, full touch integration, 4K display, all again being driven by a NUC chassis to be able to, support that true next generation collaboration environment.
Yeah, in fact, you've got the Logitech UCC products here. You got a Dell Touch for UCC application, so you're basically showing how a NUC can run an entire UC. And of course, this is not limited to Teams or Zoom. It can be whatever platform you want to load on there, and that's, in fact, you could have them all loaded on here.
Yeah, matter of fact, we'll show you later on this one, we actually do have, both Teams, Zoom, you've got Teams, Zoom, WebEx, whatever your UC choice is, you can run it with that platform.
Yeah. And of course, it's basically just a computer, but it's purpose built. So here you're showing the OPS.
Yeah. So
what is AIO?
All in one, right?
Okay,
so,
okay.
So whether you call it an all-in-one or an LFD or just whatever your terminology is, but here we have obviously our partner Avicor, and with this one, same thing. NUC has their new element now. That NUC element's plugged in through an OPS chassis that goes into the OPS slot inside of the Avicor, and providing this entire compute interface again within this platform to be able to go off and show its flexibility of, it's not just about the box that sits out on the counter. It can be, anything that's integrated into any kind of thing. So whether it's an LFD or an AOI, all-in-one, we're able to do that.
All right, and petting zoo, is this your new term for, hey, you can touch our stuff?
Yeah, so obviously we've got several different types of, so it's several different types of NUC. So when people say, what is a NUC, we've got all the different chassis, everything else that's out here so that we can show everybody, what does a NUC really look like. It's not just about the typical little square box everybody's been used to for years. So they'll be able to come out here and see exactly what we're talking about, all these different concept vehicles and things that are released today that can go into, several different use cases in that AV and collaboration world.
Yeah, And I think this is probably the form factor that everybody's used to. Of course, it'd have an enclosure on it. Yeah. But I think what you're talking about is the different card versions of it that can be put inside of displays or inside of kiosks.
Exactly. So like the Element, right? Just, you know, a little bit larger than a credit card, but provides full compute and able to run something as large as this screen over here, right? So completely different than the little square box you're used to, you know, the Nook platform.
But this doesn't have Windows on it necessarily, right? I mean, this could be
Windows, it could be Linux, it could be, you know.
That's what I was going to say. It depends on what your application is, because some of these are going to require more compute capability, and that's why you've got the different sizes.
Exactly.
Right,
a hardware that meets your needs, whatever.
All right, one last station over here with more. Yeah, this is what I know. Whenever I think Nook, this is what I know. This is what all of you normally see. But what's interesting is you got different sizes and form factors for different applications here. And in the Intel meeting space, which by the way you can't miss, it's right inside the door if you're here at the show. If not, we're going to now go around and shoot individual product stations on each one of those stations we just showed you. So just type Intel in the video search window. David, thank you very much for doing this. Thanks for getting up so early and coming and open up your meeting space for us.
Hey, I'm encouraged by it. I was excited to get here early this morning.
Yeah, this is my first interview in 21 months. By the way, I want to just as a little fact, just a little kind of coincidental fact. I think my last interview, his last interview was with each other, right?
Yep, ISE 2020 in Amsterdam. We were the last video to shoot as we were closing the circle.
We closed the circle. We started the pandemic together, and we've ended the pandemic together.
Well, just clarification, we didn't start the pandemic.
Together, I mean, we were hanging out together. That's right. Yeah, big clarification there. All right, this is Gary Kayye. We're here at InfoComm 2021. We got a lot to show you. We just barely started. The show hasn't even opened yet, but we're getting a sneak peek behind the scenes of the Intel meeting space. Thanks for joining us.